Hello, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and today I want to show you my revamped version of the Celtic Cross tarot spread. So I've been using the Celtic Cross spread since I first learned how to read tarot cards, and over the years I've kind of gotten bored of it. So I thought I would kind of juice things up a bit and change it a little bit and do a revamped version to make things a little more interesting. So I'm going to show you how to do the Celtic Cross spread, my revamped version. And as I'm showing you how to do that, I'm going to be doing a demonstration reading. And I'm doing this demonstration reading for no one in particular. It's just a demonstration reading, although you might find some of the stuff that I say to pertain to your life right now, which is always kind of fun. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first card, which is the center card. Now, this card is crossing it. I'm just going to put this to the side. Now, the first card represents you. The first card represents you right now. So what's going on for you right now in your life? Now this isn't different from the normal Celtic cross spread. I've kept this the same. And here we have the Empress. Now I should mention that if you want to see a written explanation of my revamped version of this spread, you can go to my website. I'm going to put the link in a little pop-up in this video. I'm also going to put the link in the about section of the video, so if you want a written instructions on this spread, you can see them. Okay, so the first card is the Empress. Now this represents you right now and what you're going through. Now the Empress is a very, wonderful, positive card to get. I'm actually going to just bring it closer to the camera. And the cards I'm using today are from the Greer tarot deck. And so we've got the Empress. Now, the Empress is showing that you're in a kind of stage in your life right now where you aren't necessarily forcing things to happen. You understand the value of kind of getting out of your own way and sort of sitting back, smelling the roses and relaxing. There's a real sense of flow with this card. This is also a very fertile card, which doesn't mean that you're pregnant, but it means that you're at a time in your life where your manifestation abilities are heightened, and you're coming to realize this, that you are, an active participant in your own life, and that you do have the power to manifest what you want and what you need. It's also a very feminine, receptive card. So you're in a receiving state right now in your life. Now, this is the card that crosses the first card. This is card number 2. And this represents the strongest influence in your life right now. So what's influencing you the most right now? And here we have the Chariot. Now I am using the Spanish version of the Greer card, so the titles are in Spanish. But here we've got the Chariot. Now I'm going to bring it closer to the camera so you can have a look at this card. The Chariot is all about forward movement and moving onwards and upwards. So you might be feeling an urge to travel. You might be feeling a real desire to move forward in your life and progress. And of course, this kind of is somewhat different. It kind of stands in contrast to the Empress. The Empress is more kind of laid back and receptive, whereas the Chariot is more about taking action, moving forward. It's more of a kind of a masculine type of card. But that's what's influencing you right now. So that desire to travel and to move forward might be quite strong for you right now. Now the third card, which is the bottom card, and I'm actually just going to move my camera down a little bit so you can see this card better. The third card represents your hidden desires. And I think in the traditional Celtic cross spread, this means sort of what's beneath you, what's going on underneath the surface. But I like to call this card the card of hidden desires. So this is what you really want, which you may not have admitted to yourself yet, and you might not be aware of this. Okay, so here we have the Lovers. Now, the Lovers is all about passion and connection. So this is what you want in your life right now. You want to feel passionate, you want to feel connected, and you want to feel a certain kind of intimacy in your life. Now, this might be an intimacy with another person. You might want a lover, or it might be more like you want an intimacy with life itself. So you want to just feel more connected to your life and more, impassioned. Now, moving on to card number 4, this is the card which I call the snakeskin. So this is what you've shed. So this is, an experience or something that you've let go of. And so it's no longer affecting you anymore because it's in the past, you've let go of it. But the fact that it is no longer in your life, that this is something you've shed, has helped sort of create the particular circumstance that you're in now. So in a way, it has had an influence. So here we have the Tower. Now this is a nice card to get in the past, the past position. So this is something that you've shed, you've already experienced it, and it's in the past. Now, the Tower, of course, represents a sudden change, a sudden shock. So your life probably got pretty shook up. And this could be, in the distant past, like a year or a few years ago, or it could be more recent, like, 2 or 3 months ago. I don't think it would represent, really recent, like last week. I feel like this card represents something, a little more distant. So the Tower essentially represents having your worldview shaken and changed. So certain events may have happened that have forced you to look at life in general with a new set of eyes and really kind of change your values and your priorities and how you live your life. Now, moving on to card number 5. Now, this card, I see this as representing what you think you want. And this is often the card of action. So this card can often illustrate the particular actions that you're taking in your life right now. Now, I say what you think you want because you really want to compare this card to card number 3, which is your hidden desires, and see how they match up and how they kind of contrast and compare. Because often what we think we want isn't necessarily what we really want. And if it is, then that's awesome. That means you're in alignment, you're in a good place. But quite often what we think we want and what we're trying to achieve and accomplish isn't always what we actually truly want. So here we've got Strength. We have a lot of major arcana cards in this reading. It's pretty crazy. I don't normally get this many major arcana cards. So here we have Strength, and Strength is a really beautiful card, but it does suggest that you think you want control over things. So you think you want more control over your life, and you basically want to tame the beast, however you want to look at that. So this could be sort of taming your inner beasts and the things that you feel kind of get in your way, or it could be taming the beasts around you in the external world, so the people that really drive you crazy, or the situations that drive you crazy. So I just want to take a moment to compare and contrast the Lovers to the Strength card. And it's interesting because there's this kind of intimacy in both cards. The intimacy of the Strength card has the maiden with the lion, and she's kind of caressing him. And then the Lovers, we have the man and the woman embracing. I feel like the Lovers, to me, seems like a card of equals. It seems like the man and woman are equal. They're connecting to be intimate. Whereas with the Strength card, there's intimacy, but it seems like it's more a need to tame and control the lion. She's being very gentle, but still it's that desire to control. So I think while you might think that you want control over your life, and this might show up as, trying to manifest things and trying to shape your life into how you would like it, which is not a bad thing by any means. That's what you think you want, but what you really want is a really genuine, pure connection to life itself. So what you really want is this relationship to life and this relationship to the universe, almost as if you and the universe or you and existence are lovers. So what I mean by that is you want to feel that real sense of connection with life, that spontaneity, that passion, and that love and desire with life. And that is more important to you than controlling events. But you think that you want to be able to control events. You think that that will bring you this sense of intimacy, but really it's more about kind of surrendering and letting go. Okay, so moving on. Now we have card number 6. Now I like to call card number 6 going into the forest. So this is like we're journeying deeper into the forest of our life journey. And it's the card that is also kind of representing what's next. So what's next on the journey as we go deeper. And we've got the Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords is interesting because on the surface, it appears that this card is about having to make a choice and feeling conflicted or indecisive. And the figure is wearing a blindfold, which kind of represents the fact that she might be having a hard time making the decision because she can't see clearly. She doesn't know the big picture. And she's trying to make a decision based on the small amount of information that she does have. But the deeper meaning of this card is about going within to find the answers inside of yourself without the distractions of the external world. So to me, that's what the blindfold represents. She's blindfolding herself, she's closing her eyes so she can go within to make a decision based on what she feels is right. So that's the upcoming adventure, is being able to journey deeper into yourself in order to know what the next step is. And then card number 7 is your relationship to your higher self. Now I'm just going to move my camera over. Now, in the traditional Rider-Waite spread, I believe this is how you see yourself. So I've changed it a bit. So this is your relationship to your higher self. So this is the kind of expanded, all-powerful, wonderful version of yourself. So here we've got the Death card, which is a really interesting card to get in this position. To me, it represents, and I'm just noticing the sickle, the blade here. To me, it represents being cut off from your higher self. So I feel like you could have been cut off from your higher self for a long period of time. And at the same time, the Death card represents a transition and a change. So I feel like your relationship to your higher self is changing. So you might have been cut off in the past, but now all of that is changing and you're starting a very new, very fresh relationship with your higher self, your higher being. Okay, so moving on to card number 8. This card represents your role, the role that you play in your community. So your community being the people that are around you the most. So whether that's friends, family, coworkers, the people that you see and interact with on a daily basis. I think in the Rider-Waite version, this is how others see you, but I wanted to change it to your role in your community. So here we've got the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is a beautiful card, especially in this deck. I love this card. Now, it could represent a few different things. I see the element of cups as representing emotions and feelings and relationships. And in this particular instance, there's a hand holding that cup. I feel like this represents holding the space for people to feel emotions. So whether you realize it or not, your presence in your community is one of being very grounded and open And this helps kind of create a space for those around you to share their emotions or to feel and express their emotions. So you make it easier for people to get in touch with their emotions when they're in your presence. And at the same time, your role might be to express emotions to others. That might be part of the role in your community. So you might feel that people talk to you, they're very open with you, they might tell you their problems, that kind of a thing. Okay, so moving on to card number 9. This card represents the secret key to bliss in your life. Okay, so here we are. We've got the Knight of Cups. So this is the key to bliss. Now, the Knight of Cups for me is a very youthful card. Or not, he's not really youthful, not like the page, but he has sort of that youthful, exuberant kind of energy. And he's someone who follows his emotions, again, because he's from the Suit of Cups. He's someone who follows his emotions and inspirations and kind of follows his heart. He's probably a romantic and, goes where he's inspired to go. So this is really the secret key to bliss, is following your heart, paying attention to what inspires you, and, not being afraid to go on adventures of the heart. Now, the interesting thing here is that, you might be wondering, okay, what if I do this spread and I get a really negative card in this position? And the same with, all of these, like your role in your community. What if you get a really negative card? How are you going to interpret that? So I just want to give you a couple of examples. So let's say the key to bliss, instead of getting the Knight of Cups, you get the 10 of, actually I'll bring this up to the camera. Let's say you get the 10 of Wands. Now the 10 of Wands, is feeling oppressed, feeling overburdened, having too many responsibilities and duties and just feeling exhausted. So if you get a card like that, obviously it's not telling you that taking on more responsibilities is going to be blissful. You want to see this card as a block that needs to be released. So if you get a negative card in a positive position, see the negative card as the block that needs to be released in order for things to get better or be more blissful. So in this case, this card would be telling you to, drop all those sticks, let go of some responsibilities, let go of some of the duties if you can, and that is going to make you feel much more blissful and happy. So less is more. Now, let's say you get the 8 of Swords in the position of your role in your community. So if you got this card here, it could mean, again, you're gonna see you want to look at the positive side of this card. Now, the negative side, of course, is, feeling limited and trapped. And the positive side behind it is the desire for freedom. And if this were a block and you were to release that block, it would mean taking off the blindfold, untying yourself, being free and looking at things clearly. So if you got this card as representing the role in your community, this might be your role to help others do that, help others kind of set themselves free. Okay, so moving on to the very last card. I'm just going to move my camera up a little bit. Okay, so the last card, typically in a Rider-Waite, or not a Rider-Waite, a traditional Celtic crossbred, the last card represents the future, usually kind of the more distant future. I've changed that, and my meaning is wonderful things that will happen. So, so whatever card you get in this position, it represents something really amazing and wonderful that's going to happen in your life in the more distant future. Okay, so we've got the King of Pentacles in this position. And the King of Pentacles represents stability, confidence, particularly in areas of business and money. So feeling really like financially stable, maybe having a business that's doing really well, and just feeling really, really solid in those areas of your life. So just for fun, let's pretend we got a really negative card in this position. So I'm going to pick a really negative card from my deck. Well, let's say we got Four of Pentacles in this position. So how would the Four of Pentacles represent something wonderful that's going to happen to us? Four of Pentacles usually means feeling like you need to pinch pennies and you need to save and hoard and feeling like there's not really enough. So again, we're going to see this as representing a block that's going to be released. So you would read this card as a block that you will be able to release in the future, that it's going to bring you so much joy and bliss. So releasing that block of poverty thinking, or thinking that there's not enough to go around, thinking that you have to save and that you'll never have enough, you're going to be able to really release that block and kind of open the floodgates of prosperity. Okay. So there's a few things you can do once you've done your reading and once you've laid all the cards out. There's a few things that you can do for fun. So I've already talked about, comparing your true desires to what you think you want. You can also use card number 7, which is your relationship to your higher self. You can use this card to explain some of the issues in your life right now. So if it's illustrating that the relationship to your higher self isn't very good right now, it can certainly explain some of the problems that you're having. And you can compare and contrast this card to other cards as well. So just as an example, the card of the near future, which I call Into the Forest, going deeper into your life journey. This card is all about, making decisions and going within. And if your relationship to your higher self is not very good, this is going to be really tricky to do. And in fact, you may not even want to go within for the answers. You might just seek the answers externally by asking other people their opinions and advice. But once you start to shift your relationship to your higher self, you're going to find that going within for answers is going to be really helpful for you. Okay, so card number 9 helps card number 10. So card number 9 is the secret to bliss, and then card number 10 is awesome things that are going to happen in the future. And so understanding card number 9, understanding what that secret key is going to help you create the awesome things in the future. So that's another thing to kind of compare and contrast and see how these two cards relate together. So for me, the Knight of Cups, how does he relate to the King of Cups, or King of Pentacles? The Knight of Cups, like I said, is about following your heart and going where inspiration takes you. So this might be saying, if you follow your dreams, do what inspires you, then ultimately you're going to end up in the position of the King of Pentacles, being financially successful and stable in your life's work. And another thing you can do is compare cards number 3 and 9. So card number 3 is your hidden desire, and card number 9 is the secret key to bliss. So often these two cards are very much related. And so you can kind of compare and contrast those two cards and see what you come up with. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you're going to have fun trying this spread out at home. Once again, if you want the written version of this spread, I'm going to put the link just in a pop-up right now in the video. I'll also put the link in the About section. If you click on that link, it will take you to a page on my website that has a photograph of this spread with each position explained. So you might want to, print that off if you're going to be doing this spread on your own at home. Okay, so my name is Kate. I'm from dailytarotgirl.com, and thank you so much for watching, and happy tarot reading.